Hello, good morning all of you. Through this video presentation, we will discuss today motivation. Motivation is the second element of directing. Yesterday we discussed elements of directing, supervision. Second is motivation. Third is leadership. And fourth one is communication. These are the different elements of directing. Today we are going to discuss the second element, that is motivation. So let us see what is the meaning of motivation. Meaning of motivation. Motivation, the word motivation is derived from the word motive. Motive. It means urge. What is urge? Urge to do or not to do something. Now again you understand the word motivation has come from the word motive, which means urge. It means to do or not to do something. It is a process of stimulating people. Stimulating people to act to accomplish the goals. You have to stimulate your subordinates. Manager has to stimulate the subordinates to reach a particular objective. Right? So motivation is a psychological term which means it cannot be forced on employees. It comes automatically from the employees. Motivation is not to be forced from outside. It always comes from within. Now, after understanding its meaning, we should see, we should focus upon the words of Dublin. Dublin says about motivation, motivation is the complex forces starting and keeping person at work in organization. These are the words of Dublin. You can see what Dublin says. Motivation is the complex forces. It means there are more forces than one, and these are very complex in nature. Starting and keeping person at work in the organization. A person keep on working in an organization for long. It is because of the force of motivation only, right? Now, after understanding the meaning of motivation, we will learn now what are the different features of motivation. Now, let us come to features of motivation. After understanding different features of motivation, we will learn the nature of motivation in better way. So the first feature of motivation is psychological. Psychological. Motivation is a personal, this is personal, as well as psychological concept which arises from the need and wants of person. Needs and wants of a person. It encourages the employees to work. So let us understand in detail. Motivation is a psychological phenomena. It is personal and psychological. It means motivation depends upon person to person. Same thing cannot motivate to everybody. Mr. X, who is motivated by a particular thing or by a particular idea or by particular words spoken by somebody, not possible that Y will also be motivated by the same things. It also happens that it is so personal that the words or idea or the things or the surroundings which is encouraging or which is motivating Mr. X now, not necessary that the same things will motivate the same person again. Right? So it is very much personal and it is absolutely psychological. Right? This concept arises from needs and wants. This is very important things to contribute in process of motivation. The person's needs, person's wants generates the level of motivation in a person. Now, let us move to the second feature of motivation, that is process. Motivation is a process of inspiring, energizing, and activating the employees for a higher level of performance. Whatever process is contributing in these three things, in inspiring, energizing, activating, that process is called as motivation. Activating for what? Activating for higher level of performance. If an employee is working at this level, it has to come to this level. So this gap is to be bridged by the force of motivation. I give you one example. A runner is running at this speed. The spectators are clapping from outside. Right? Clapping. This voice of clapping comes to the ears of this runner, and his speed expedites, and he comes to this level. of running. And he reached this goal in better timings. This is possible because of the force of motivation. So, this is a process of inspiring, energizing, and activating so that an employee may upgrade his level of performance. Right? Number next. Number three, continuous. Continuous. Motivation is an ongoing process. Ongoing process. Human wants are unlimited. Human wants unlimited. Yes. Nobody knows how many wants you have. Nobody knows how many wants I have. These are unlimited. If you count your wants from morning to night, you can't count them. There are so many wants. So, having wants is also an ongoing process. So, as we have already seen in the previous example, and the previous point psychological, that motivation comes from needs and wants. And needs and wants are unlimited. So there is a relation between these two. What? This is an ongoing process. If suppose this want is encouraging you, then second want will come, then third want will come, then fourth want will come, and like this it will go up to infinity. Right? So it will continuously keep on inspiring, energizing, and activating you, as we just see here. So this becomes a continuous process. The level of need of a person depends on the psychological aspect of the in- individual. As soon as the existing need is fulfilled, another will appear. Suppose this need is fulfilled, then this need will come. Now you have fulfilled this need, then this need will come. Suppose now you are busy to fulfill this need, then next need will come. So when there is a sequence of needs, they are coming one by one after suppose X want, then Y, then Z, then again suppose X1, then Y1, then Z1, then X2. Like this is a repetition. There is no end of human wants. They will come in the way, and a person will keep on satisfying them. So this becomes a continuous process, never ending process. Clear? Number fourth is complex. Complex. Motivation is a complex subject in the sense that the needs and wants of an individual may be unpredictable. Unpredictable, which cannot be predicted in advance. The level of need of a person depend upon the psychological aspect of the individual. Your needs are very complex. You don't know yourself what are your needs, as we have already discussed. And these are unpredictable. So if you club both the things together, this becomes complex. Right? Infinite needs and unpredictability. If you club together, then this gives a picture of very complex situation. Needs are complex, their unpredictability makes them more complex, and it leaves a very complex impression. And this motivation process as a whole becomes very complex. This is complex in this sense also, as we discussed in the first point, psychological. This is very personal. A person is engrossed um, by so many personal phenomena. A same thing is not guaranteed to motivate the same person again and again. Who is going to be motivated by whom depends upon the situation of that particular moment only. So, in this way, we can say that motivation comes as a very, very complex phenomena. Now, next point you see, this is motivation is goal oriented. Number 5 point, goal oriented. Motivation should be directed. It should be directed towards the achievement of stated goals. Towards stated goals. You should know what is your goal. Suppose here you have to reach, here you are. Then motivation is directed towards this goal. If suppose there is not a goal, then it cannot be motivated. A motivated employee should work for the attainment of organizational goals. This is a target. Suppose of production 100 units per day. Suppose this is the target. And here the employee who is working, he is able to produce 90 units per day. Right. Now, this performance can be converted into this target by the force of motivation. If the manager pays attention to how this 10 units can be added to its performance, and if you explore what is the possibility, what is the where is the scope, then it can be bridged up. Clear. Maybe possible this employee is not able to produce 100 units and he is stopped at 90 units only because his organizational climate around is not congenial for him. So, if some motivation is suppose added to this subordinate, then certainly he can touch this target. So, motivation is directed towards a stated goal. That is very important feature of motivation. Number next point is positive and negative. Positive and negative motivation. Yes. There are two types of motivation, positive and negative both. Positive motivation means the process of stimulating employees for good performance. Stimulating employees for good performance. Yes. Here you are encouraging the employees for good performance. As in the previous example you saw here, you are motivating the employees to touch the target of 100 units per day. So, when you are stimulating employees for good performance, it means you are putting a positive motivation over the employee. Negative motivation means forcing the people to work by threatening or punishing them, which is not desired by the employees. This is negative. Negative, forcing the people to work by threatening. This much. In the same example, the negative motivation can be given like this. If you are not able to touch 10 units more, if you are not able to touch the target of 100 units per day, you can be terminated or your wages can be cut down. Right? Like this. If threatening is there, then this is negative motivation. How? So, employee, this worker, perhaps may be motivated to work under fear, under threat. He may lose his wages or he may lose his employment if he is not able to touch the target of 100 units. So, if you are putting this type of pressure, this becomes a negative motivation. Both are motivation, of course, but the interpretation is different. If you are stimulating employee for good performance, okay, you do it, we will reward you, we will pay you better, encourage, appreciate, then this becomes positive motivation. So I think the difference between two should be clear to you. Now, next is number 7, behavior oriented. Behavior oriented. Motivation is person specific. Person specific. Yes. It is related to the personal behavior. Personal behavior. Yes. It is related to the personal behavior of an employee. The behavior of employee is directed towards the attainment of organizational goals. Everything is directed towards organizational goals only. We are uh, motivating our employees to touch the organizational goals. So, motivation is very much behavior oriented. This is person specific, and personal behavior is influenced by motivation. Clear? Next point, last point you can say, features. Motivation and job satisfaction. Right? Motivation is the willingness to work. This is willingness to work. Not work, work, merely be present at workplace is not enough. Is the subordinate contributing willingly? That is more important. Clear? As students appear in the class, they have come only for attendance. This is not motivation. If they have come in the school for the purpose of study, for the purpose of discussion, for the purpose of settlement of their queries with some objective, this is called willingness. So, this is required. This is motivation. Motivation and job satisfaction. Uh, it is the stage before the job is done, whereas job satisfaction is a feeling of content which a person experiences after doing a job. There are two things. One is motivation and one is job satisfaction. It comes afterwards. When an employee has put his efforts for the organization, then it comes in the way, job satisfaction. Oh, I have done a good job. So this sense of achievement, this sense of satisfaction comes after motivation. Clear? So we have seen now the different features of motivation. Let us once count all for your recapitulation. First of all, we saw psychological. Number next, we discuss process. Then we discuss continuous. Motivation is a continuous process, ongoing process. Then we saw motivation is complex process. Then we saw it is goal oriented. As here you see, it is goal oriented. Then we discussed motivation is a positive and negative both. Clear? And number 7 we saw motivation is behavior oriented. And at last we saw motivation and job satisfaction. Motivation is a willingness to work, and job satisfaction is an experience which comes after doing a job. So let us understand now what is the uh, nature, what is the feature of motivation, what is motivation all about. So after discussing it all, now we will discuss what is the process of motivation. What is the process of motivation? Process of motivation. In to understand process of motivation, there are some steps. The first of all, unsatisfied need. Unsatisfied need. Then need, tension. Tension. Then effort. Okay. Then after effort, tension reduction. And after tension reduction, satisfied need. Right? Now you see, this is a process actually. Process of this process motivation is processed in this sequence. First of all, an individual has unsatisfied need. Let us take an example. A person is hungry. He has not eaten food. Right? He is here. He has not eaten food. He is hungry. Clear? So it is creating a tension. It is creating a tension of satisfying his appetite. So now tension comes. Second step. Then this person goes to search out a hotel where he can find some food. This is effort. This person walks over a distance of suppose 2 kilometers in search of hotel. He is not finding any hotel, but he still goes. This is called effort. And effort depends upon level of tension. if hunger is great, then tension will be great. And if tension is great, then effort will be great. So there is a sequence. But it is necessary that there should be some unsatisfied need first of all. Now, suppose after walking 3 kilometers, that person gets a hotel. He takes food. Now, after taking food, his tension is reduced and then he feels satisfied. He is motivated. This happens in, suppose, one need, as we saw also in features. Okay, motivation are endless. It is a continuous, ongoing process because wants come one by one. If this is satisfied, then this comes, then this comes, and all the time this process take place. I give you one more example to make it better understanding. Suppose you want to reach in your board examination 95% aggregate. This is unsatisfied need first of all. You have identified your need. I want to secure 95% marks. So if the target is higher, then the tension will also be higher accordingly. It is giving you tension. Okay, how will I get? How will I get? How will I get? What can I prepare? What can I prepare? Like this. After that, we will make efforts accordingly. Right? You are making efforts. You are taking online classes. You are taking different books. You are consulting different reference books. You are discussing with your teachers, etc. These are all efforts. And after doing all, your tension is reduced. When you reach the solution of a problem, suppose in morning there was a question which was unsolved for you, so that's what unsatisfied need. That created tension in you. Then you made an effort. You yourself was not able to solve that question. Then you approached your teacher, and teacher suppose helped you to understand the question. Now the tension is reduced and you feel satisfied and you motivate to do another question. Then next question comes, then again it becomes unsatisfied need, then it creates tension in you, then you make effort to solve that question, then you do your efforts, you consult other books, right? Then suppose you get the solution of that, then the tension is reduced, and after at last you again feel satisfied. So this is endless process and it keeps on going, keeps on going. So children, this is a process of motivation, and you have understood, I think. Now, okay, I hope this motivation chapter is clear. In the next class, we will see what is the theory of Maslow, the very important theory of Maslow. So we will discuss that. Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice day.